the approval of the minutes until the December meeting. So, we can pass on minutes. And, just because I need to check on what they need to do and how they need. Do we want to do this? The long, yeah, that's what we want to do first. The longer education first.
I'll just introduce, we have, Arlington County, works in the, Parks Development Division, Bob Capper. He's very, he is the subject matter expert when it comes to this facility and kind of the history of this entire, project. So, yeah, we'll, let Bob talk and, get any questions after, again.
Thank you, lady. Thank you. I'm just gonna stand up here and really reminisce. I don't have a speech prepared for you, but reminisce about what it's been like to develop this park and this aquatic facility. So Bob Capper, Park Development Division, Landscape Architect. My title now is Capital Asset Manager, which means I work on the CIP and other things like that. But I've been involved with this park since the beginning. So I first set foot on this park, on this land in 2001. And back then, this land was pretty scary. This was, Arlington doesn't have brownfield sites or industrial sites, but it did have this one. This was one. It was a former industrial site. The uses and abuse of the land had been apparent, and weeds were struggling to grow back then. So what it was like is that starting at 6th Street, coming this way, that initial area right there had been an area where people would dump refrigerators. There's some business that did this, that collected refrigerators and air conditioners, and they leaked all kinds of bad stuff into the soil. So by 2001, that was all gone, and PCBs were in the soil there. So it's now underneath Field 3. But then, and still existing today, is an asphalt cap over all of that bad soil. There's a 4-inch asphalt cap that covers that area, the parking lot size asphalt area, that keeps us humans away from those bad chemicals. Moving on this way, then was a concrete batch plant where they mixed concrete. And then further this way was an impound lot. So if your car got towed, Arlington County Police would bring it here. Met somebody whose car had actually been towed here to the north track, to this site. In fact, that my first visit here, there were still some old cars sitting around. Beyond that, there were piles of dirt and debris, and almost weekly, it seemed that contractors, rather than take their construction debris to Lorton or wherever they would take it, would just dump it beside the road. And the road was a terrible mess. We did not own, at that time, in the early 2000s, we did not own this site. This was owned by a company called Monument Realty. We owned where Boeing now sits. Back then, there was an old motel and some old warehouse buildings. And I don't know what took place in those, and I was never in that old motel. But it was pretty bad looking. My wife would say, "No way are we staying there." It looked seedy, looked bad. So the entire place was kind of scary. Look, so we began work though and work on a master plan for it. The master plan was drawn up by a company called Lewis Scully Genet. They're landscape architects here in the Northern Virginia area. The board approved it, and that master plan showed 4 regular-sized athletic fields, a playground, parking lot, and an aquatics facility. The aquatics facility on that master plan, since we didn't own this, sat where the motel warehouse area was, or the now what's Boeing. We then went into kind of final design, detailed design for plans for the park. The selection committee chose the same company again, Louis College, to do the detailed plan. After that selection, the park planner, who's Eric Beach, now he's my division chief. He and I went out and visited Mark Genet, and we were facing one of the most difficult conversations potentially that perhaps ever had. We were going to ask Mark, we want, we respect you, but we want you to bring on a national firm, one of the big people. Mark sat back, had his feet up on his desk, listened to a smile. He said, yeah, we can do that. So they brought on Hargraves Associates. George Hargraves had an office in San Francisco and Boston, very renowned for his park work. So they brought on Hargraves Associates to assist with the design. They were the design landscape architect, whereas Louis College Genet remained the landscape architect of record, if you will. So they put together the construction drawings, but the big idea people, that was Hargraves. So what do we get from Hargraves, having a Hargraves on the team? Well, what we got is it's incredibly simplistic. It's that esplanade. It makes perfect sense now. You put up a mound of earth and you block the sound from the train tracks to the folks on the field. Perfect. Plus, it connects to Crystal City. It connects the park to Crystal City. In addition, we have contaminated soil. We have the PCBs. We have lead, high concentrations of lead. That's in the esplanade that was put there and then covered with 2 feet of clean material or hard surfacing. So underneath all that esplanade is some lead soil. So it does a lot of good things. It also, walking on the esplanade, you get to watch trains if you're into that. See the wildlife over in Roach's Run. Look at the monuments, memorials around. So it's been a wonderful solution. The park was then built. It opened November 5th, 2011. And then we had to do something that we don't do in parks. We had to rebuild the road, Old Jefferson Davis Highway, and it was a mess. Craters and potholes, and all along the road, it would flood multiple times throughout the year, 1 to 2 feet of water, because it's low, and that's where water would sit. It was deep enough that cars would stall out in the middle of it. It was a lonely time then, because it was me and our construction manager. We were sitting in a trailer with the contractor trying to figure things out. But it did eventually. It took several years to get constructed, but eventually did get finished, and it's nice now. We had put in a large box culvert that's 6 feet high, 10 feet wide. In addition to all of the other utilities, and there's a mass of them, that's in that roadway. The old Jefferson Davis Highway, Route 1. So before 95 was built, all of the communication lines from Maine to Florida were in that roadway. So we could not do anything during Christmas, the Christmas holiday, Valentine's Day. That's another, blackout period because the banks wanted, didn't want any of their communications or transactions interrupted. There's also cables that run to the Pentagon there. So we did eventually, after 2 or 3 years, finish the roadway. Now, coming on to this end, when we were doing the work on phase 1 park, this was owned by Monument Realty. They were trying to build a 6 or 7 story office building. And I don't know what the issues were. They just kept running into, issues that they were unresolvable. And somehow along the way, they said they worked out a land swap with the county where we took this property, we gave them the old motel and warehouse site. That gave us $25 million. That's the development potential. That had more potential than did this. So it worked out well for everybody. We get the premier site for the aquatics facility. They sell the boat. So it worked out for everybody there. Before Monument Realty owned this was the site of the Twin Bridges Marriott. The Twin Bridges Marriott was the very first Marriott hotel in the world. This right here was the very first Marriott ever, anywhere. They kind of cut their teeth on this and learned to do it well, apparently. This Twin Bridges was opened in 1957, closed in 1988. Back in 57, you could have gotten a room at Twin Bridges Marriott for $8 a night, plus $1 for your 3 or 4 kids, to a total of $12. Nobody had to pay more than $12. So pretty cheap. The one scandal that came from those days at the hotel was an up and coming rock star died in Twin Bridges. He had done a solo concert the night before somewhere in the district. He died of cardiac arrest brought on by a drug overdose. So that tells you, if that tells you anything, it's do sports, don't do drugs. But this fellow's name was Lowell George. And he had been a member of the Mothers of Invention, Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. And then he started his own band called the Little Feat. And he was the front man, songwriter, guitar player for Little Feat. So on your way, did anybody remember Little Feat? Okay. So on your way home tonight, here's your assignment. Yeah. Listen to Dixie Chicken. He wrote Dixie Chicken. If you'll be my Dixie Chicken, I'll be your Tennessee Lamb, and we'll walk together down in Dixieland. What a nice song, actually. So anyway, he died in 1979, June 29th, 1979, at that Twin Bridges hotel. Where do we go from here? Because we're not done. Things always keep going. First is, I said there were 4 fields on the master plan. There are 3 fields there, right? Okay, that 4th one, where does it go? Over the parking lot. Yeah. That'll be a very expensive undertaking, but I believe sometime in the not too distant future, it'll be worth it. We're gonna run out of spaces for full-size fields, and we'll go ahead and we'll build that for you. And the parking lot is designed 10 feet to the surface, so you got clearance for your Suburbans to get in the parking lot, and the length is still good enough for a full-size field. So you would walk from the Marymount field, you'd walk straight across, now over open air, but on that second field to field 3. The other thing, though, that's coming sooner is the county is working with a group called the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. Their endeavor is to increase passenger rail traffic on the East Coast. Right now, through Arlington and Alexandria, there are 3 rails. 2 of them belong to CSX, the freight people. So the one belongs to the passenger rail people, Amtrak, and they want to add a 4th rail through Arlington and Alexandria, and a new rail bridge adjacent to the existing rail bridge. Well, so existing rail bridge, new rail bridge, 25 feet upstream from there, they're building a pedestrian. So that pedestrian bridge will connect here to the park on the back side of the aquatics facility. It's be 16 feet wide. And by the way, there's a kiosk out here that has way more information than I ever will know about this. So you might want to check that out. The bridge then will come across Potomac. There'll be a ramp down to the Mount Vernon Trail. So you can go from here across the parkway down to the Mount Vernon Trail, up and down, or across to East Potomac Park. And then, so as you come across the parkway, traffic will split, hoping pedestrians can go this way up to the Esplanade. Commuter cyclists, we expect a lot of commuter cyclists come this way around the building to new bike lanes, bike lanes on questions.
What's the time horizon?
It's on fast track. They're hoping that we're to be done by spring of 2030. That's fast. That's really fast. So, I think spring of 2030.
And this is, that's the pedestrian bridge, the
Pedestrian
rail bridge.
The rail bridge is on a similar timeline. I think they're hoping that maybe gets done a little sooner. That serves them, but the pedestrian bridge serves them.
And who's paying for this?
VPRA. Yeah, county is not paying anything. Now we'll do the improvements on Long Beach Drive, but the bridge, VPRA.
Something's working. I'm actually working on it.
Oh, okay.
It's split into 2. There's the bridges that cross the Potomac and that.
You're on the north part of it. Yeah.
It might take that. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you can't escape it.
Joy's going to give you a tour of the facility in a moment. I'm going to mention a couple of things that she may not know, or it probably won't point out. One is take notice of the glass of the windows. The windows the glass uses a bird deterrent glass, so it has saved the lives of thousands of birds. Also, the back plaza is dedicated to Terry Johnson. Know Terry? Yep. Terry was a longtime Park and Rec member, advocate for parks, just had a heart of gold. Tough as nails. Tough as nails, I tell you. But a heart of gold, just a true, supporter of parks. Drove her little, she had a 1969 VW Beetle, black. Drove that all her life. So she died of cancer, so we named the real clinic her. That's all I, yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry to come late. What was the cost of this?
Cost of this, the initial bid was 57 million. I want to tell you when it's all said and done, it was 59 and some change.
Boeing has some kind of contractual
They do. Naming rights, they purchased naming rights for the field. I don't know if you've taken off from Nashville Airport and flown over the field here. You look down and Boeing is thrown into the synthetic turf. And then there's Pentagon. Somebody was thinking there. So naming rights, they gave the county $10 million for naming rights. So yes, in the competition pool, your name is on the wall, and in the field, the park, are
When's that? Naming rights? Is that a long term?
I don't know. Don't know. I think maybe 10 years. I actually don't know. the year.
Fairmont uses these fields for their.
Marymount does use the field one. Yeah, I use field one. For soccer, lacrosse.
Got their logo.
Yep,
Yeah.
and their logo.
It's like a partnership.
It is a partnership, yes. They assist with the replacement costs for the turf. I think it's 60% county, 40% Marymount, something like that.
That were the games first, like whatever they need their games at.
The county has an MOU, with the university for usage of, Virgin One.
Yes.
They have priority. They kicked us off. When the
Yeah.
administrative fee, so.
Yeah.
They have
They
priority.
have an MOU.
Yeah, they have their pig tag.
Okay, well, thank you for your attention. Iggy, turn it back
Thank
over
you
to
so
you.
much, Bob.
Thank you.
I think at this point, we can go ahead and get started with our tour, which will be led by our acting general manager, Joy Ford. She is the subject matter expert for all things facility related in the aquatic center. Quick shout out, when I first started with the county, I was part of the Longford staff, and Joy was one of the first folks as well that we brought in to staff this building, so she knows it better than anyone. All right.
Oh, yeah, I think Bobby said you stepped foot in 2001.
2001.
All right, so Iggy and I stepped foot on 2021. Yes, I'm Joy Ford. I'm the acting general manager. I've been acting since September. Couple of things about the facility. It's a 98,000 square foot facility. We have the main competition pool and hot tub on this pool deck, a leisure pool on this pool deck, an 8,000 square foot fitness center upstairs. We're all about to see that, but this is facility ran by Arlington County Parks and Rec. We do have memberships. We have day pass options and membership options all the way from a 10 visit punch pass to an annual membership. The rates are based off of whether you live in county or out of county. And we also host all of the Learn to Swim programming for Arlington County, all 55 plus aquatics classes, as well as our competitive aquatics team. But you're about to all see that. So let's go this way. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this one. Okay, yeah, and your stuff's safe here, right?
Yeah, you can put it up as well.
I thought it was 2/3.
Yeah, it's not like it was, so.
50 people?
Hopefully we're done. Like everyone said, and I wish we would have done, and then after it, because I can probably. End of it. I wonder if I can.
Right, stop it.
Okay. Well, at least all our stuff will be recorded. handful. Cardinal, I reached out to, same with Fleet, all of them were reached out to, I wasn't aware
steady, it's tough, but really, really doing well. Yeah, never stop.
Oh, man. So.
Say it, I've flown to Argentina, and if you look at
Like space.
yeah, if you go, to that restaurant, you can say that, you know, has like the, yeah, I went to a piece. But it is, you can see it from there, I don't know that, but yeah, you can see it from there. Yeah, we got cold at the. In our neighborhood, you know, there's, family, so we have all these events that have rules that were my daughter's age, so like right on our street. So we never got to do like time and stuff, but we were like. So we went.
Oh, yes. Try to like that.
Like, yeah, but he didn't pick up, you know, it happened.
Still bad, still bad.
Yeah, yeah, like it usually, and you know. But yeah.
All right, so let's see, get back on track here. Each one. Are we still being, are we recording?
Yeah, it's been recording. I'm gonna like, try to like cut that middle part when it gets.
Well, we are.
Yeah, we still record, so we're all good.
Perfect. So, we, thank you to Joy and, Steve. I mean, that was fantastic. So, they're not here now, but hopefully you will tell them.
Absolutely.
We actually, can go ahead and approve the minutes. The rule is for form is half plus one. So, I think we are good to go with that if we.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then we'll just move on to, old business and, I put the council added back the day of play discussion, which, we had thought about doing, last, I guess it would have been at the end of the summer, but things were a little too crazy, so that we kind of want to revisit. I think there's some interest in, I don't know, am happy to be involved. I don't know that I necessarily want to lead it, but, Meredith, thoughts? I know you're gonna be crazy busy now.
Right, and you're thinking like this summer?
I don't know. I mean, I liked the June idea, but I think that's also hard.
And they have that, in-house stuff at Barcroft in August. They usually post, I mean, I think that would be probably in August, that weekend for me,
Yeah,
this coming months, but,
right.
they do that in August, and I just, you know, I think it would be a good facility to have it at, because you have baseball, you have soccer, you have, you know, all those different fields, and then the gymnastics facility,
Do you want to try to do a reloop and target August and we'll just see who can step in to help? I mean, as a committee, what do you all think about this?
You know, obviously, some people with vacation, so maybe suggest it earlier in the summer, more in a day. Start with the summer.
Right, I kind of like the June idea. I don't know. Do you think that would fly? I mean, if we did the gymnastics stuff outside and not in the facility, like, the possibility.
I wish I could give you a definitive answer right now, but I think if we come up with a
When
general dates.
you know, the summer camps don't start until after school ends, which, you know, so if you're thinking early June, it should be a better time.
Right. I would anticipate it would have to be after most of the sports had finished, so like, probably the earliest you could do it would be around the 14th of June or the following weekend. So the second or third weekend in June would be what I would target.
This would be a Saturday.
I think it would be.
Well, like I said, I don't know when the official last day, my kid's last day of school is May 29th.
I think the last official day is like June 18th. June 17th, okay.
So I know that the baseball fields are,
So that-
early June is a really packed time because when the playoff season
It was
is happening locally, and then you have the travel stuff, so.
Ideally, I think you would target the Saturday after school has finished, would be my thought, but
So that would be June 20th.
June 20th.
The objective to, I know it's to introduce people to different sports, different opportunities. Is it more for people who live here going into summer, like people have opportunities over summer? Is it like people who move here all the time? It's very dynamic. Are it those people that may not be here over there?
I don't think it would target just young kids who maybe are thinking about, do I want to try, you know, just, it's, I think what I heard was just like, for them to see like, punishment or lacrosse stick, walk across the fountain or, just like basic things. You have frisbees and, stations where they're not necessarily playing lacrosse, but they're seeing the equipment and, maybe somebody's there showing them like, this is how you hold it and, you can have simple little things. I don't know, even like the right ages for some of the kids to pick these things up, and they might even, across the gym, where there's sort of 5 or 6.
So would you get the sports leagues to?
Yes, and we have to get them to have kids come volunteer. And.
What are you?
Yeah. So, should we check on that date and see if we can review this?
And maybe if that particular date doesn't work, maybe we'll see what other.
What
dates
other
might-
potentially could happen?
Right.
That's available.
And then I'm gonna pass this around, I don't think there's a problem.
There's so many different sports around the
I'm gonna circulate this, basically like a list of different, that we might represent, and so we want to take a look at it and pass it on and see if there's something you're interested in, sort of like being a liaison to the sports commission or, I should probably set. And, maybe next, in December or January, if there's something on, you can email me, like, I'm interested in X or Y, or we can just follow up, in December or January. So. Then. we got, Okay, and so Hamilton, now it's you, Parks and Rec Commission liaison update.
Yeah, so, Adam will try it as well, but
Okay.
he's actually a real member of Parks and Rec. So, two big topics of conversation. One is the River House complex, they're expanding that fast. Another 3,000.
The River House is the one that's in Pentagon City. It's west of the Pentagon City Mall, right near Richmond Square. In Highland, Highland.
Yeah, so you look up the hill, that's it. The big, Franklin building, so they're gonna put, the parking lot's gonna go away, and they're gonna put that, they're gonna move Joyce to the west of the shopping area, they're gonna move it to the west a little bit, and have the park just a little bit, give a bit more room activities there. And the big bottom line is, person working on it, is looking at what other recreational things they're gonna put into the Green River House complex to get more than about what we can. And what we did, 3,000, probably 5,000.
Yeah, they're keeping the current building, they're just building new ones.
So expanding, it's almost like how many people live there now?
Question, I'm sure. I mean, we were told, but I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the differential was the 3,000. Yeah.
And they're giving a 2.5 acre land. It's currently sort of a parkish. They're actually gonna donate it to county, so it will become part of the park.
And that's moving towards to the west. That park will then be adjacent. Park, you know where the softball fields are?
Yeah.
In the park, those will simply get bigger.
But what will happen with those is obviously to return. But one thing that we learned is that currently there are tennis courts on the property, and there's also a dog park. And they're planning on eliminating both of those, which means that that's gonna put more burden on Highlands Park to have those. So it's a little unclear, like, they're giving us this land, but they're also going to be saying, oh, but now we can do dog park and more tennis facilities. So is that land they're giving us so that we can put dog park on it? That's a cynical version of that view, but it is something to consider is that they're donating land, but they're also going to be potentially with the additional people and the loss of their facilities. It's going to put more burden on them. Already very.
Was there any discussion in Parks and Rec meeting about when the Virginia Highland area, like, when that would be redesigned, or is anybody, I mean, if the new land's coming in, I assume there'll be a redesign.
Yeah, so I asked that very question
Okay.
about that, and right now, there is not a master planning process for
Okay.
the park, but I believe 2030 is around the time that there's some thought about doing it then.
Okay.
But as far as the timing of when this would happen, it's still up in the air. I mean, I imagine probably by 2030, that first phase, they're doing it in a couple of phases. And the first phase is they're gonna be moving Joyce Plan over.
Okay.
And then the second phase, the building. So this is gonna be like 5 years. Isn't there already a dog park on the side?
There is a dog park right there.
I'm sure in the redesign, it gets moved probably.
Apparently, currently there's 1,700.
1676, and plans are up to 4,400.
Wow.
Essentially.
The other, this is kind of like, or interesting, the county has a mechanism for nonprofit to raise money, because setting up the admin account, raising money for specific projects. So, for example, this boat, if people want to build a new boathouse, or taking advantage of that, donate, county, that mechanism, they sure invest money, keep track of it, so that, good amount of nonprofits use that, whether it's something that's total sales, management, that's what you don't have to do all that stuff. Bank, towns, control.
The Park Rec Commission is kind of exploring the idea of pushing for a Friends of Park kind of organization or group that would help raise some money, not to replace. Kind of danger is you like, oh, now they're trying to put money for it. But I thought the purpose of it is to add those some extra things that, you're doing. So one of the mechanisms is to set up, a fund through the community foundation that would then support, getting the business. It'd be a lot, easier to set that up and set up a separate nonprofit. But it could be the start, could go that way, and then we will.
I think those are the two major things.
Major things,
Yeah.
okay.
Lots of side effects.
Um, what's commission? Open. So we do have a couple seats to open on the sports commission. So if, I know, if there's anybody that cross, that it could be a good fit, that is in a sport that is not covered, or in an area that, you know, we don't have, somebody, you know, certainly have a reach out to me. I know one person, expressed interest, and I did get back to him, but, he messaged me back and said he's got it. So I think we can attend it. No, it's somebody, this is somebody else.
Yeah, I reached out to them, they confirmed that, he was planning to come, but then he had something come up, so he
Come
tried to come to the next.
Okay, perfect. It might be January.
Yeah.
So, and on my end, chair updates, I really don't have any chair updates, that we can understand.
So the only other thing is, in the, Parks and Rec, certain members have a certain interest. They go research it, so one person, look at the river house, fall, sign, would like to check it out, so understand it. So if there are any specific sport issues you want to, investigate on, please do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I just listed in the gym. She can stop her. We're welcome to stay and talk. I thought they